So a little history. 2 years ago, it was Canvas Sunday, was our last in-person service. Guess what? We are still here. We are still here. I'm going to look at y'all for a moment. Sorry, y'all. We are still here. I see hands. I see hands. Hi. We are still here. So normally before Canvas Sunday, the night before, what would happen? Those who have been here for years? Fellowship dinner. One of the great joys. The sanctuary would be filled with tables, and everyone would have a meal together right here to celebrate the fellowship of this congregation. We had to shift things. We're trying new things in a pandemic, because that's what we do. So we had a trivia night last night, and it was really fun. Led by part of our intrepid Canvas team, it was a Jeopardy-style UUCR trivia night. So much fun. And one of the questions, or one of the topics, caught my interest. I'll give you the answer and see if you can come up with the right question response. The artisan collective that produces a yearly masterpiece. Oh, who are the quilters? That is correct. Did you catch that? Artisan collective that produces a yearly masterpiece. That's right. What is, or who are the UUCR quilters? This congregation has been blessed with many deeply intricate quilts that sort of blow your mind, made by incredibly gifted hands. Always amused, incredibly just touched by the artistry and the dedication required. And now that our UU principals, our 7 and 8 principals are in the sanctuary, we shall have to find a place of true and high honor to welcome the next quilt. But I have a more humble and simple quilt to share with you this morning. Aww, right? This is a quilt that my mother made, starting when I was a small child. There are patches from around the world, patches when they used to make patches for swim meets. Does anyone remember that? Patches for swim meets. And patches for when I learned to ice skate at Cabin John. And even a B for Becca. No one calls me Becca anymore, except for if you knew me as a child. And fishies, because I spent so much time in the water, I was more like a fish than a child. I will tell you that I liked this quilt as a child. I liked it. It was okay. It was kind of fun when I noticed a new patch would go on. I'd smile and say thank you and go on about my business. It meant something, but not a great deal. I'll be honest, I was a kid and thought, what's so special about that? Doesn't everyone have a quilt? I think all parents and caregivers can collectively groan with me right now on that one, right? What has taken me some time, more accurately years, to appreciate is what this quilt actually represents. This quilt is like a love letter. My mother took the time to make this quilt, gather the patches, sew each one on with a patience that is truly beyond me. This quilt is a representation of a parent's love and kindness, coming back time and time again to remind me of who I am, where I've been, and what I've done with my one wild and precious life. Last week we explored the question, what is faith? And I shared how I have come to understand faith, a decision to believe in something greater than ourselves. We make that choice. We orient our lives and live in such a way that we are of service to the world, to the community, to each other. Do you hear what he said? We run this as an experiment in generosity. And he says, he asks, what is the price of people volunteering on a Sunday? What is the price of connecting with those before you? What is the value of that? There's something that happens when you go into a restaurant and you realize that no one is paying for themselves. You can search online. There's like 6 of these karma kitchens across the country now. Everyone is paying for each other. It's something you recognize, he says. It's something you want to be a part of. And you pick up that part at the end where he talked about the karma kitchen as an experiment in empathy. An opportunity to feel and care deeply for those around you, for those serving you, for those you are serving, for the generosity that keeps this place going. Do you know where I'm going with this potentially? I see your smiles. I know you know where I'm going with this. This place, this spiritual community is an expression of a karma kitchen. Those who went before us ensured that we were able to be here today. It was their love. It was their love back in what year? 1956. That was another trivia question last night. And what was the first name of this congregation? The Rockville Unitarian Center. Let's see if anyone got it in the chat. Nope. Yep, the Foxes joined in 1962. Thank you, Adrian, for sharing that. In 1956, when the Rockville Unitarian Center started here, their love, their hope, their dreams, their generosity are what made this day possible. From Deuteronomy chapter 6, verse 11, we drink from wells we did not dig. We are warmed by fires we did not kindle. We come to community, we come to this spiritual community because of our founders. As I said last week, we are bound in religious community to our ancestors, to those who went before us, just as we are bound to the generations who will follow us, to our children and our children's children, and so on. Just as with climate justice, stay with me, it means that we are not free to destroy that which we have been given. I will say that again. We are not free to destroy that which we have been given. We have been given this earth in a sacred stewardship, this beautiful pale blue dot in a vast and infinite universe, and it is ours to steward for future generations. And just like with climate justice, it is not easy, it is not always pleasurable, but it's necessary and it is life-saving. Not ours always, but for our children and our children's children ad infinitum. Which brings us to Canvas Sunday. I believe that love, service, and community are inextricably bound together. We celebrate Canvas Sunday as the highest expression of those intertwined threads and invite you wonderfully beautiful, sweet souls, to give your time, your talent, and your treasure as an affirmation of the gratitude we practice for the founders that made this day possible, and a prayerful hope for those who will follow thus. I think back to the founders of the River Road Unitarian Universalist congregation in Bethesda, where I grew up. If they could even conceive that someday one of their children, one of their youth, would be standing before you as your called minister a few decades later. To keep this special place going and thriving, to this place as a possible launching pad, just like that karma kitchen. If everyone showed up and decided not to pay, that's it, game over. There is no plan B. You are plan A through Z. You are plan A through Z. Your generosity and commitment are everything in spiritual community. In the reading that I shared previously, the author stated, to tithe or to pledge is to tell the truth about myself. What is the truth about yourself? That you are kind, compassionate, generous, that you have been blessed and therefore blessed to be a blessing. They also wrote, I am a person whose presence matters in the world. And I am a person whose life has meaning because I am connected to and care about so many things larger than myself. If I did not tithe, I would lose track of these truths about who I am. So you know you don't have to actually be a member to pledge at UUCR. You don't have to have a gazillion zeros after your pledge to tell the truth about yourself. $10 or $10,000, that is the truth about yourself. You have to know that your presence, your generosity, whatever your giving level, is an expression of your heart. And it makes a difference here and in the world. Future generations will be grateful to you because you gave them the spiritual gift of community, a place to practice generosity, a place to practice empathy and compassion, a place to be held and saved and pushed to greater service in the world. That is your love letter, just like my quilt. That will make darn sure that my children and my children's children will appreciate this quilt for years to come. So I ask you, what is your love letter? What is your radical act of hope? What just came into mind related to the karma kitchen. In the ways in which that we return and return to that heart. Return to that place where, because those who went before us have created this space and welcome, we are. Yesterday morning, Adrian Graham led the second session in a New to UU class. How many folks have been in a New to UU class here at UCR? Thank you. I see you folks. Yeah. It's pretty exciting. It's a big group. And they ask amazing questions. Good questions, deep questions. And one of the questions that we discussed yesterday is, what is worship? What is ministry? And one of the things that I shared was that worship and ministry are a conversation. I am only a minister because y'all are here. And we are in conversation with the greater spirit of life. I am in conversation with the faith that I serve. I am in the conversation of the God of my understanding that gives me breath and strength to be here with you, to practice that patience and empathy and compassion, to practice that generosity for years to come. So I'll invite Bonfire to come up to the chancel to play our closing hymn as we continue to celebrate our Canvas Sunday. They're going to play Don't Stop Believing. Can we say an amen? Come on now. Don't stop believing. And while they come up, I invite everyone online, I'm looking at you online, to post in the chat your intention with just 2 words. 2 words, I pledge. If you have made your decision to practice your faith with a pledge this day, please post just in the chat, I pledge. Let's see if I can see your I pledges. Ha ha, look at you. With any emojis that your heart desires. Just I pledge, not a dollar amount, not anything else. Just I pledge. As a gift to those who will come after us, in honor of those who have gone before us, I pledge. So post away. Look at that. Look at that. Can you all see the stream? Oh, no, they can't. Folks in the sanctuary can't see the stream. There's a stream of I pledge. So post away, and while they're doing that, I will invite everyone here in the sanctuary to come up with your pledge card and place it in the basket. Actually, that really pretty blue box right there. If someone could grab that for me. Let us celebrate. Let us celebrate UUCR this day as a Karma Kitchen. Let us celebrate. Bonfire, take it away.